So Andy's going to do
Okay,
that now.
perfect. All right. So today we're going to be talking about our Yoast and your SEO at the bottom of your page. So I am going to, one of my students, he's one of my up and coming rising students. He is an excellent writer. I actually got permission to use his pages. He is going through all of his pages, and the first thing he told me on our BRT was he loves to write, he hates grammar. So he writes exactly like he talks. There's no periods, there's no punctuation, there's no capitalization. He just writes. So, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to go through and finish all of his pages. And then we come back on our trainings and pretty up his pages and get his SEO working. So that's why I tell people the hardest thing that we do is get our content. If you already have your content, then you are exactly where you need to be. We can always pretty up pages later. So I'm going to pull up his page. And so I already have his page in the edit mode. And as you can see in our Yoast, which is down here at the bottom, I have his set up over here on the side so you can see it too. But at your Yoast SEO, his is orange and orange. Now Google, oh, are we recording? Yes, perfect. Google requires these to be green and green. And if you write like I do, I don't even pay attention to this until I get to the bottom. But if you're one of those OCD people, you have to see it every time you're finishing a paragraph or you're doing anything major, then you want to always come down here and look at this or have it set up to your side. Either way works. And then you're going to scroll down to your Yoast. You have two tabs. One's your SEO and one is your readability. So most people always have trouble with these two, transition and passive voice. I always tell them if your page is less than 400 or 500 words, keep writing. It usually will take care of itself, but that doesn't mean you can't go in and try to fix it. The other thing is when we click on our SEO, you're going to scroll to the bottom and you're going to have, if it looks like this, and you just see SEO analysis with no drop down, just click your drop down arrow and it will open up and give you your bullet points for your analysis report. Okay. The first thing you want to always fix is your reds, because usually if you fix your reds, most of the time your oranges will help themselves or will fix themselves. So we're going to look at the reds. This is his wine page. He's not in the wine club yet. So we are using my wine link to put in there. And so it's telling him he doesn't have any internal links, and internal and external or affiliate links always confuse some people. So your internal links means that you are sending them to a page within your website for them to see a related topic or another program or another affiliate that you want them to market with that is in conjunction with the one you just did. So since we are in wine, a good internal link based on what he is actually talking about in his page would be to send them to one of the other affiliates, like for Canada or Australia, Germany, send them to one of those pages. Or if he's talking about up here at the top where he's explaining about the lifestyle of wine, you can send them there. You can talk about friendships. You can talk about outings. You can talk about different things, like it says, you know, getting something special to the table. Good news is it's going global. So again, you can come in here and put any internal link that's related to this. So I already know that he has a US Wine of the Month Club. He also has a Canada page. So the simple and easiest fix for that internal link is to come down here to where it says Canada and highlight the word Canada. Click on your link. And then start typing Canada. If you don't have to know every link in your page or in your system, it's there. So we're just going to click on Canada and it's there. So now that word is linked. So we took care of that internal link. It should be gone. Now, the other thing that he has here is his key phrase and his introduction. So what is your key phrase? Your key phrase is your focus key phrase up here. So it is US Wine of the Month Club. It has to be exact. If you have your key phrase with any capitalization, it has to appear exactly like that with capitalization every time you use it. If you use lowercase letters in your key phrase, then whether or not you use capitalization doesn't matter. Capitalization is one of those special things that they need. It's required if you use it. If you don't use it, it's just an enhancement. So if your focus key phrase has capitalization in it, then it has to have capitalization in it everywhere you use it, or it won't be recognized. So we're going to come up here to his beginning. Paragraph. And it says right here, for some time now, our USA Wine of the Month Club has been growing very rapidly. So it's very easy to fix this. Okay. So right here, again, I'm just going to fix some of his capitalization. All right. So again, like I always say, whenever you are writing a page, you always want to give them that knee-jerk response to where they can click right immediately. So once you explain what you have, your Wine of the Month Club, give them a few little tidbits, give them the option to go ahead and join. So that's the first thing you want to do. So he didn't have that there, so we fixed it. Just follow the link, and we're just going to grab a link because he does have it in here somewhere. If not, I can go grab it. Yep, he doesn't have it in this one. So I'm just going to go over here to my sheet and grab my Wine of the Month Club. Okay, so right up here, we're going to give them the option to join. And I like words and phrases instead of just a single word. We're going to make sure you always open in a new tab whenever you are sending an external link. And there's that. And I think what we're going to do is put this down here. We're going to bold it. Okay, and I want to center it. And we're going to customize it just a bit. Okay, so there we go. So now we have that. So then we're going to come down here and look and see what has happened, if anything has changed. And even though you get green and green, you can still keep going until you fix it. So now we took care of those. The other thing, it says our key phrase density, we only have it one time. So you need to have it at least 2 times, and we need to see why. The amount of times your key phrase needs to show up is determined by the length of your page. So you have your toolbar over here that shows a general overview of your page and what it looks like. So if you want to see what your word count is, you're going to hit your content structure, and it tells you your word count, how many headings you have, the different paragraphs, and how many blocks you've used. Okay, so he actually has 721 words. So your key phrase needs to show up at least twice when you have any page over 500. 50 and 1,000, it needs to be at least 3 times. Anything less than 500, you only need to show it 1 time. But just make sure you look down there at your Yoast and SEO or Yoast SEO. It will let you know if you haven't used it enough. Okay. So we are going to come in here, and there's two things that we can fix with one little swipe. So he also says that his key phrase isn't in his subheading, and it needs to be in a level, high level subheading. High level means level 2 or 3. Your title is a level 1, so you really don't need a level 1 in your page unless you want something to stand out. And usually you can go in there and use your custom text size to fix that. If you use a level 1 heading or a heading 1 in your page, you're going to get a little warning down here that says you used a level 1. They don't want to see a level 1 in your page because that's reserved for your title. Headings 2 and 3 are considered your high level titles or your high level headings, and that's where you need to at least state your in your headings, you need to state your key phrase. So we're going to come through here and find a level 2, and I don't want to put it too close. So we have the Wine of the Month Club. So we're going to take this blank out. So we're going to move that block. How to get started, how to become a member. This is a level 4, see a heading 4. So reserve, that is a heading 3. Become a Grand Crew, and I'm going to put one here. It's long. I usually center long one. It's just more pleasing to the eye. And then we're going to look down here and see if we got rid of those two. All right, key phrase density. Let's do an update. And I need to make sure see, I didn't use it. It's US Wine of the Month Club. So I got to make sure I use it exact. So we got to come back here and do USA Wine of the Month Club. So always make sure that it matches. So now we're green. So then you can come through here. We need to use it again in another heading. So even though we've matched our 2, we haven't matched our heading based on the amount of headings that we've used. So we're going to come back here and just find it. It really depends on where it looks good, where it fits properly, where it's going to make sense. You don't want to put it somewhere where it doesn't make sense. So we're going to come down here and do ambassadors. And again, since it's so long, I'm going to center it to just make it more appealing to the eye. And that should take care of that. Okay, so it didn't like that. So we can do this. That was a level 3. We can change that to a level 2. And that should fix it. Okay. So let's see, it wants it in more. So we're going to put it in more. So let's go find us another one that's not right here on top of each other. So we're going to do become an estate member. And we're going to change this to a heading 3. Center it. And how to get started. Are you a wine drinker? Want a USA Wine of the Month Club. And we're going to see if that took care of that. There we go. So now the other thing is you can come in, and even though you have green and green, you still have like these 3 right here. You want to make sure that you fix these if they're fixable. If it's one of those things that it's going to take you a long time to fix it, then don't worry about it. So one of the things is your meta description. A lot of you don't understand your meta description. Your meta description is your brief summary that everybody sees when they find your page on Google. When you go to Google and do a search, so if we do a wine search, then your explanation right here is what people read. So that is your meta description. Now, if you're like me and I see where it says click more to continue reading or whatever that is, I won't click it. If I can't see what I want to see right here, I'm not going to click just to read some more information. A lot of people are like that. So you want to make sure, see like how it has these dots, that means they are outside their meta description. It's too long. So you click these dots to go and see what else is there. You want yours to be concise to where they can go in and read exactly what you're talking about within these few sentences. So that's where you go to your meta description and you are going to do your edit snippet. This line should never be orange. It should always be green. So we want to come in here and fix this. Now, this is one of the few places you don't have to have your key phrase exact. You don't have to have it at the beginning, but you need to include at least the majority of your key phrase in your meta description. So what we're going to do is we're just going to shorten this up. All right, so you see it went from green to orange just by putting these exclamation points. If you get to the end of your meta description and a period changes it from green to orange, get rid of the period. Punctuation is not really that key in your meta description towards the end. If you can summarize it or make it shorter and still keep the meaning of what your overall page is about, then do that. You want to keep it as brief as you can with giving it as much information as possible. And earn free wines, get started and join today. So again, I'm telling people they can get started, give them the option to join so that when they come in, they're like, oh yeah, I need to get wine club. You don't want them to have to keep reading your whole page just to find the one place where they can click on to join. So the one thing you want to make sure, like I said, in your first paragraph, give them the option to go ahead and join your program. And then you can come into your next pages or your next headings and topics and talk about your actual club. You want to make sure that you put in a little bit about yourself, give them a little bit of education. That's a great place where you can come in and put your food pairings, put in some recipes. You can talk about how it's good for vacationing, you know, to help you relax. You can talk about how, you know, red wines are good for heart health, and that can be a whole nother tangent into a whole nother topic for pages about how red wine is. And once you get in there with the red wine and talking about health, then you can also branch off and talk about your Bella Vita, talk about your Blue Scorpion. So there's all kind of ways that you can go off on tangents once you get to your different topics. So then we're going to come in here and your image attributes. So this is what a lot of people don't understand is your images. All of your pictures are clickable on Google searches if they are linked. So here we have a few pictures. So this one is sitting by itself. I am actually going to move this over and align it to the left. And we're going to make it a little bit smaller so that now the picture is a little bit more better. I'm going to center that. Okay, and this one just to be a bit smaller. And in marketing, this is just from my old days in marketing. In marketing, you always want to put your largest price first. If you have a customer program, do that. That should be last, but the way he's got it first. But if you have larger priced items for the same thing that they can get it in increments, you always put your larger prices first. Then they can see, oh, I can't get in that one now. What else do they have? So you want to be able to come down and see the different ones that they have. So he actually has this one reversed. We'll talk with him about that to get it fixed. So it should be your Grand Cru, then your Reserve, and then your Estate. So I'm going to reverse these and keep this one big because I want it to show off. We're going to keep the reserve a little bit bigger. And we're going to minimize this one. Not saying that it's any better or worse. Once they come in, they're in. But I wanted to show them that there is a progression to how our program works. And we want it centered, okay? And be a part of our program. So your pictures also are very important. So you want to make sure that they are linked. And you're going to come up here. Each picture has its own set of toolbars, and you want it to go to your link, to your external link, whatever you're doing. You're going to hit apply. You're going to open it in a new tab. But here's the important part, is your attribute over here, your alternative text. This is what Google uses to help index your images on Google Images. So your key phrase, and this one is US. Okay. So if somebody goes to Google Images and they type in USA Wine of the Month Club. All right. So here's all the images. You're going to come here and click on images. And then all the images show up that come from other people's websites. Okay. Now here's the website or the place that that image came from. Now, if you like an image and it's not watermarked, you can right click it and copy that image or save the image as. But if you double click that image, because it's linked, it takes you to wherever that link came from, wherever that picture came from. So if it was on Facebook, it takes me to their Facebook club that you can look at. If it was a website, like this one says foodandwine.com, I can click on, where'd it go? Click on this site, click on the picture twice, and it brings me to their site. So, but if that page isn't linked or that image isn't linked, it doesn't go anywhere. It's there, but it doesn't go anywhere. So you're not gaining that organic traffic. So you always want to make sure that your site is linked. All images are linked and that they are linked by your key phrase. Same key phrase. You don't, but you want to have the majority of your images with your key phrase. If you have too many images, it will tell you down here in your Yoast that you have too many images. It will tell you too many of your images are linked. The good thing about our images is you only need an image about every 150 to 200 words. Anytime that you're transitioning your thought process, then you need an image to flow with that. So like with here, he's talking about the experience of wine. This one is a little bit different because this is an offer page. That's what we call an offer page. It's telling them how they can get started. But if you're writing just a general page, then that's one of the things you want to be cautious of, is that you're not creating a photo journal. You're creating content for people to be able to come and read about your product and find ways that it can help them. So you're going to come through here and make sure videos, you can't link them, but every picture needs to be linked. It needs to have a key phrase with it so that it can get indexed on Google. So it says here that it's image sometime. And so when you see that message down there, that's what it means. Is that you don't have your images linked. Make sure your images are linked. Make sure that your alternative text is your key phrase for that page. Okay. And then you want to update periodically. Just, if you have internet go down or you got a glitch in your system and you go through a whole page and you didn't save it, you could potentially lose some great content. So you want to go every, few steps, every couple paragraphs, and make sure that you have modified or updated your information. So again, we have this picture. Even though the smallest image that you have, it is linkable. It is clickable. It is something that you want to be able to use to gain that organic traffic. Okay. So now we're going to do an update. We have one more image. Some people will not think that this is an image. It actually is. And I want to move it to the right, and I want to move it up. So here is our positioning right here. I want to move this image up right here. Actually, I want to leave it down there because this is talking about the wine and dine. Might not be able to do that the way I want to without messing up. Let's move it to this side. There we go. Okay, what happened to my video? So now my video disappeared. So what we're going to do is just come back, hit your back button, so your information comes back that you're looking for. My video should be there. If not, we will grab our video from another place. So that should take us back. This is a great learning tool. So it removed my video. So what do? It's like, okay, what happened? Where'd the video go? I need that video for the wine and dine. So it's very easy to do. If that ever happens, then all you need to do is go to your instructor site or go to Rory's site, R247, not R247.com, Rory3.com, and grab that video for the wine and dine. So I'm just going to go to my page and grab that video. And I'm going to show you how you can go in there and do the same thing. Cooking food and wine. I think we have it on this one. I may not have it on this one. Oh, I don't have it on mine, so I'm going to go to Rory3.com. We're going to go to his wine pages. And let's see if he's got it there. Nope, he don't have it on his either. So we're going to go to nope, that ain't it. I know it's there. We will find this video here in just a minute, because I know it's here. So we're going to go to YouTube. And you see all these different wine and dine shows. We can do the wine and dine show. Y'all didn't think, here it is, Life with Rory and Tanya. That might be the one that was on there. We can see what that one looks like. This one's got a full playlist. Nope. So we're going to grab one of these, real simple. And this one is the Halloween show. This one That one's an hour. Let's do this one. So you're going to pull this one up. And you're going to left click and you're going to get the embed code. Okay. You're going to come back to your page. You're going to hit your add a block and you're going to look for embed or HTML code. So if you don't see it here, then you're going to come to your formatting and you're going to hit your HTML code. He's got to do some updates, but we'll get those done in a minute. And then you're going to paste and then you're going to preview. Okay. I'm going to have to get Tanya to fix that. So we can go find us another one. And let's see if we can get this one. It might just have to get one with Freudian. There it is. That's the one I want right here. This is the one I want. So, so again, I'm just going to copy the embed from this one. And we're going to bring it in this page. I'm going to remove this block and get another one. There it is. Perfect. So it was there. It was just hiding. So that's the one that we want. And then we're going to update. And I want to go back and make sure that we have this link in here. So I'm going to grab your link, grab my link from here. Copy. And I'm going to link this. And again, we want to make sure that we have this. And then you want to save. And we are still going to move this picture. We're centered. There you go. That'll work. All right. And then you want to update. So that should take care of all of our orange. Should take everything taken care of. So now our see, it's telling us out of 6 on this page. So it's telling us we got too many. So that's fine. This is what you can do for that. Is you're going to leave it there. This one right here. It didn't save. So this one you can do. I go through and make sure all of our images are linked. Okay, so that's good. So this one says 1 in a month. I want to make sure these stay 1 in a month. This one stays 1 in a month. That one's fine. So now let's go down here and see if it still says that, gives us that message that we got too many images. All right, so it says that we 1 in the month club. So what it's telling us is that we have too many images that are using, that still uses part of our key phrase, which is 1 in the month club, even though we have USA 1 in the month club. So we can just come here and do Canada month club or Canada wine club. All right, let's see if that helps. We got to do one more. This one we could do fine wines. Hit our update. So now let's see if that gives us a better reading. So it's still not letting us get that, but we're going to go in here because it's telling us that we're using part of this. So it doesn't want us to use anything with wine or 1 of the month club or club, which is kind of going to be hard to do. Either that or we just won't link your pictures, and you don't ever want to not link your pictures. So the fact that we have an overall green and green, we're still going to leave that there because we don't want to not link our pictures. So now the other thing that it says is key phrase in your slug. Your slug is something you don't mess with naturally or or usually you don't mess with it because that is actually the link for your page. That is going to be your address link. So you're going to come up here and our slug is only says USA. We don't want that to be our slug. So we're going to say USA. Okay. So you're going to put, usually your key phrase is going to be your slug or whatever your title is. So in this case, we're going to say USA Wine of the Month Club, and that should give us everything except for our images. And because I want to make sure all of our images are linked, I'm okay with this. So we got that part green. So the next part we're going to go to is your readability. So it says your transition words is only 9%. Okay, so for those that don't know what your transition words are, those are words that are basically transition from one thought to another, from one sentence to another. You're basically linking your thought process. So you're going to be using words like however, henceforth, therefore, howbeit, or albeit, as a matter of fact, things like that, words like that, that are giving them one idea or going from one idea to the next, or you're relaying or conveying a thought. So that's one of the things that we're going to look at. If you click on this eye, it will show you all the instances of where your transition words are currently. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot. So this one says coming soon. Okay. So once your application is received, that's a transition. So we're going to go there. So we only have 2, 3. So as a reserve member, I said this is a really long sentence, but I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so let's go down here and see. So it went down instead of up. So we're going to come in here and see where we can fix that, because we want to make sure that we get those up. So here is, like with him, most of the time it's just punctuation. Okay, so we got rid of, take care of that. As a reserve member. Okay. So let's see if that helped that any. So we got rid of that. So there's that. Got rid of the passive. So passive voice, we took care of that. It's now green just by adding some punctuation. So we've got this up to 9.3%, which it says it's not enough, but however, we do have green and green. So this is one of those pages that I say, you have your content set, you got your green and green, it's updated, published. This is one you can advertise, but you can also come back and this is going to be a work in progress because you know you have this red. So if you're like me and get a little anal, this is one of the pages you'll come back to later when you get a little bit more work on this SEO. Now, the good thing about this is with Google, for those of you that are trying Google AdSense, they prefer green and green. If you have a green and orange, you're kind of okay as long as you don't have too many. I've seen people that they have half their website is green and orange, either or, you know, could have an orange SEO and a green readability, or a green SEO and an orange readability. You can get away with a few of those, but not too many. You want to make sure you're always green and green. If you have any of these red, forget it. They're not going to publish or even market a page that is in red unless you do it yourself. But they will not do general or generic searches for your page if you have a red in your readability or your SEO. So if you don't know where to get that, you can actually have a general overall view of your website in one location. So when you come to your website and you go to your dashboard or you're on your dashboard, if you look here, for those of you that have it, you should have it here. If you do not see this indicator, it's very easy to find. You're going to go up here to your screen options and you're going to make sure you have your SEO clicked, your readability clicked. You don't necessarily have to have your title, but if you want to, you can. And then your key phrase. That way you'll be able to see your key phrases. All right, so you can have all those there, but you don't need too much because you don't need to clutter up your dashboard. All right, so then once you do that, you'll be able to see this information. And from here, you can see your SEO score, you can see your readability score. So you can come, if it's gray, that means it's either a page that has been put in draft, or you don't have any key phrase in there at all. If you don't have a key phrase, it can't give you a readability or a good readability score. So you want to make sure that you always have that. They will not do anything with the gray. It won't get generic search traffic. The only way it will get advertised if you physically advertise it on an ad site. Google will not pick it up and let it show or let it be searched. So you want to make sure that you go through here, and anything that is in red, anything that is in orange, those are the ones you want to go back in and fix. See what needs to be fixed. So like here with Eric's, on his beauty page, it says his readability is orange. Because I know how he writes, he doesn't do a lot of punctuation. So just adding a few punctuation and capitalization usually fixes his pages. This is one that he doesn't have any pictures in it either, but he's still got green on his SEO. Which is good. So there's a few things that we'll have to fix. So on his readability, he doesn't have a subheading, and he doesn't have enough transition words, but his flesh score is 77%. So that's one of the things you really want to look at. Google looks at this kind of heavily too. If your flesh score is really low, that means your page is really hard to read. You have really long paragraphs, you have really long sentences. You don't have a lot of headings or breaks between them. You want to make sure that you have short, concise sentences. You want to make sure that your paragraphs are less than 150 words each. If you have two paragraphs together, try to put a subheading in between so that you break up the flow of the content. Add a picture. If you have more than 2 or 3 paragraphs together, a picture will break up this and make your flesh score easier and higher, because that flesh score means that people are engaging in your page, that it has things that they can look at to keep them moving through your page. If you have a lot of content and just a picture every 500 words, you're going to lose them. So if you have a 500 page page of content, then that's where you're going to go in and say, okay, I want to put a picture halfway between where I change my thought process. Or if you have a big change in the way you're writing, do 2 smaller pictures, but you want to make sure that the flow of your page is consistent and concise, that keeps people's interest. Like I said, you don't want to have your page be a photo album. That is not what it is. We are content-based websites. All right, so we're going to go through his page. And the first thing I'm going to do is come through here and just kind of work on his capitalization. Okay. So right here, we're going to just put in a heading. The other thing I want to do is double check and see what his key phrase is. So we're going to go back to his key phrase because I want to make sure that we include it. So beauty savings. So he's got that, beauty savings, he's got that. So we want to make sure he doesn't have, that's good. Beauty savings superstore. All right. So now let's go back and see. So it says there's a section that's more than 300 words. So where is that section that's more than 300 words? It looks like it's probably right here. And the reason being is because they have these right here. So we are going to fix that. Real simple. So there, fixed it. Now he's green and green. Just by doing a few things here and there. Again, transition words, once he goes in there and fixes some of his sentences, his transition words will be okay, but our overall is green and green. So let's go and look at his analysis. Even though he has green and green, he doesn't have any images. His key phrase is not an exact match in his title. So this says title. So that's the other thing you have to look at. One says title, one says first paragraph. The other one we said our first paragraph. This one says our title. So we're going to go back up and see what his title is. This says big savings on all beauty items. So we're just going to do beauty savings. Okay, so there's that. And you cannot center your title. I've had people ask me that, how can you center it? Through code you can, but we are not doing code. So this is going to not be centered. Okay, so don't go in there and try to waste your time trying to figure out if it's going to be centered or not. So that one is not centerable, but now we fixed it. The other thing is he has no images. This is one thing I was talking about last week. Before you go in and find a bunch of images on Google images to put into your website, see what you have in your media library. So we're just going to click a block. We're going to click on image, and we're going to go to our media library. Okay, and you're just going to scroll down until you find images for makeup. If they're in there, you're going to find images. So here's one for one of the programs we have, but it's still about lipstick. So you can just use that image and select it. Okay, And again, we're going to align it to the left. All right, we're going to do that one. And he doesn't have any links for this one right now. So we're going to do gifts and more. But this would be one that he can do for, just write a few things in here for gifts. He can do his Russell Stover's chocolate. He can do wine ambassador and put his wine link in there. He can do his Bella Vita. There's all kind of things that he can do for the gifts to get those links in there. And again, we're going to come here and we're going to find an image because this one was talking about gifts. So let's see what we have about gifts. I got to check my time. Oh, I didn't realize it was that late. Okay, come on. He's got to have more pictures in that. It's got to have more pictures in that. Is it still thinking? It's still thinking. Okay. Keep thinking. And I think what I'm going to do is use this one, even though we don't use this product anymore. It's still a good picture that we can use. I'm going to scale it down just a bit. And I'm going to put bath and beauty products. Great. Ideas. Okay. So now let's see what we have. That should be taken care of. And again, it says it doesn't have any links, doesn't have any attributes. So again, we're going to go back in and put our key phrase in here. So you're going to click the picture. And our alternative text is going to be beauty savings. You can actually put beauty products in one of them if you want to. And we're going to hit update. And then once we get in there and he'll have his page already ready. So he's got outbound links. So it's going to coffee. So he has his coffee in there. It's going to his inbound coffee. So there's his Blue Scorpion information in there. So boom, he's already got that for his Blue Scorpion. So he can use that for his beauty and come in here and just basically put that in here. Makeup for lips, we don't take that one out because we don't have that anymore yet. And then we're going to update this page. And so now for his Yoast, this page is good for Google. It follows their protocols and parameters for what they will use for organic search traffic. So this page will be indexable on Google. Just remember that you want to make sure that you ensure your overall is green and green. If you have one or two red below here or orange, as long as your overall is green and green, you are fine. You can always come back and do it later once you get your site up and running. And that's the key, is you want to get your site up and running as soon and as fast as possible so that you can start indexing on Google, so that when you do get ready to apply for Google AdSense, you have that organic traffic coming in from your advertising. So I hope this helped you understand your Yoast, how to use it, how to make sure you can go in and utilize it properly to make sure that your pages are appropriate for Google searching and Google indexing. And that's all I have, Andy.